For item number 1, Anthony got a 2 on each, the circle and the star, because he did lighter shading on the circle but still stayed within the lines, and same with the star, did a little bit darker coloration but then lighter shading but stayed within the lines, therefore it is a 2. For items number 3 and 4, the drawing lines through paths, the crooked and the curved, he did very well on this. On the curved one, you can see that he did do a line through here, but then on this starting part and this end point, he decided that coloring in was still better, but he also stayed within the lines. If he hadn't, then I would have used my transparency that has the ruler, and for every ½ inch, I would have deducted a point for that, but I didn't need to, so he did very well there. So that's item 3 and 4. On item 5, the drawing of the dots, like connecting the dots, he did really well on this as well. Again, I'm using my transparency, lining it up, and I was very surprised because he scored a 3 on all lines because he stayed right within that center line, giving him a 3 on each different line. So there's 4 different lines, therefore that is a total score of 12. If he had lifted his pencil at all, then I would deduct that. I would subtract the number of pencil lifts from the total score, and if I had redirected him in any way because he wasn't following the path of the diamond, then that would have also been deducted from the score, but he didn't, so he gets a full score of 12. And then on item number 6, the folds, he did pretty poorly on this part, but I was able to see that by lining up the transparency with the black line that he was supposed to fold on top of, and then there's dotted lines above and below, and he went on the 4 of them, he went outside of the line on 3, so therefore he scores a 0 because he was all the way down here on every line, like I said, except for 1, and on the one that he got a 1 on, he was almost outside of the lines, but not quite. On item number 7, he did well, and so here I line up the circle that he cut out that's on my diamond with the transparency, and as you can see, he did a very good job here. It's divided into 4 different segments going around. In all 3 segments, he did a really good job, and but on this one, he was a little bit outside of it, so that scores a 2, but each of these is a 3 for a total score of 11. For the scoring, I went into the fine motor precision subtest and wrote down each raw score. For the drawing the lines through the paths, I did not write the actual raw score. I had to look at the errors instead of what he actually scored on that, and so he had 0 errors there. I used the corresponding charts that are already on the page there in order to translate the raw score into points. The point scores then were all added together to get me the total point score for subtest 1. I found the chronological age of 6 years, 1 month, and 1 day by subtracting the test date from the birth date. And then I took and transferred the total point score of 31 onto the front page. To find the scale score, I used table B2 and first looked at the total point score of 31 and then found that the scale score is 19. To find the confidence interval at 95%, I went to table C1 and found that his score would be 4 by looking at his age of 6, and we're sticking to 95%. And so therefore that's a band score of 4, which is plus or minus, therefore giving us the interval of 15 to 23. I found his age equivalency by looking at table B15, and I see that his total point score is 31, and so corresponding to that, I see that his age equivalency is 7 years 3 months to 7 years 5 months. Looking at table C13, I found that his descriptive category would be average due to his scale score range being between 11 and 19.